Alrighty, everyone. Restream's not showing anything. Am I live? You guys seeing me good? Hearing me good? I don't know if my restream's just not updating, but I'll go ahead. Oh, seems like we're getting some comments coming through. Good stuff. Alright, seems the signal's coming through good. I hope the music isn't too loud. Just in case, I'm going to turn it down a tad bit. Turn the mic up. Hope y'all are doing great. Well, as I like to tend to do, I come in when things get crazy. And, you know, I know there's been a lot of heavy debate. It's always something that's debatable, and that's price action. Gotta say, guys, I closed my short-term positions. I did it at 7,800. Actually, no, sorry. 80. It was 8,700, 8,750, where I closed my short-term positions. And I told people I was worried that, you know, over the last few days, we'll go through a few different things. Still got the money flow index from what we were doing it on video on earlier today. Actually, gonna actually go ahead and open this up in Aurochs and stuff. Take a look through so we can get some more real-time data. One sec, guys. Just gonna go ahead and get this set up. But yeah, I know we've got an interesting set of price action coming through, so I hope you guys will stick around. We'll go ahead and dive right through that. We got some people talking about 6K incoming. Yep, and this is honestly, guys, what I was talking about in the sense of my target. I don't know if we'll get exactly 6K, but I think we're definitely bound for that range. Especially seeing as we didn't go to 10K, we have a good chance if we have a 40% correction after a 3x. I mean, it makes decent sense that we'd see something like that. I'll have the chart up in just a sec, everyone. Just gonna go ahead and log into Aurochs real quick. Once we get that up, we'll get going. If you guys could, definitely drop a like, and just to make sure for future videos, if you could hit the bell icon. I know YouTubers always pester people about that, but YouTube is spotty about notifications nowadays, so. Alrighty, I think we're all good to go. Got the chart up here. Alrighty. So, appreciate you guys with patience on that. Just wanted to get Aurochs up here. And we'll go ahead and bring it to the 5-minute. So it seems like we're getting a little bit of recovery here, but I want to spend some time more than, you know, focusing on what's happening right now. Look, you either long or, you know, short, or you held positions or you sold your positions, doesn't matter. I want to spend some time more. I'm actually going to turn on the music here. Oh, I think we just got a donation. Let me check real quick. I don't know who sent a donation through because it's not showing up just yet. But I will bring that up in just a moment. But let me go ahead real quick, guys. Take a look at the chart here, and we'll dive into that donation and answer the question if there was one. The thing that I want to kind of put across in the sense of lessons that we could take away from this is a few different things. First off, parabolic price action is hard to maintain. We've broken the parabolic line now. I mean, you can see it as plain as day on the chart, guys. Talked about watching this, and not to mention as well, you have other technical indicators that you can use for what price gives you without using any crazy, you know, indicators, just simply indicators from price alone. And that was an ascending wedge. We were building one, everyone was talking about it and watching it, and we broke it. In fact, we actually broke it a little bit earlier in the day and stuff. And I was watching it as we were tethering around it. So you want to watch for things like that. Price alone would have given you all of that information without having to use the RSI, the MACD, you know, the countless different indicators, the McKinley dynamic that I talk a lot about, all this kinds of stuff. Now, the other thing that I want to talk about as well, and again, this doesn't require indicators or any crazy knowledge, is taking a look simply at volume. So what we emphasized a few daily updates ago is that for every one of these green days, it was relatively pitiful volume. And even when we had some decent price moves, you know, it was these kind of short shocks and bursts of, you know, a few hundred Bitcoin being bought on liquid exchanges like GDAX, Coinbase, Gemini, you name it, the fiat on-ramps in the United States. But every time we had sell-side action, it came with some serious volume. You had 30K Bitcoin here. You know, again, a few pitiful days of green action. And then, you know, over these just last few hours, we've seen a lot of shocking volume come in. It's to the sell side. I mean, this literally is a daily candle that just started a few moments ago. It's for June 4th. I don't know what time frame it's under right now, but it just started on my trading view and stuff, and I'm on the East Coast. So really crazy stuff going on. Because it's funny, it's saying I've got like 2 watchers, but I'm seeing a lot of comments that come through. So hopefully I'm coming through good for you guys. Yeah. Well, no, Charles, I'm more emphasizing. I mean, I just love to talk on here when people are worried about price, but and we talked about this for the last few daily updates. I closed my short-term positions, and a lot of people. I'm not rubbing it in, guys. Obviously, like, you know, it's kind of a fun thing. We banter back and forth. And long term, I think we're all long cryptocurrencies. But yeah, a lot of people pester me, Nick. Yeah, you're not going to get it back down to 6K, and who knows? We might not get 6,000. I might still be wrong on that. But you know, a breach on a parabolic line like this, guys, uptrends like this don't last forever. It doesn't matter if it's Bitcoin, doesn't matter whatever it is. As much as I love Bitcoin fundamentally, parabolic run-ups tend to close their gains in a very short period of time. And if you start to see the volume really amp up to another one of these days, like we had on May 30th, that's what I'd be really concerned about. It. I would, you know, this thing would lead to Bitcoin going down to 6,000 very easily. Let's take a look at a few other cryptocurrencies on the daily. I know some people were looking for a breakout because it looked like, for example, some would say, oh, this is an ascending triangle. But in reality, it's more of, you know, it's not only kind of wonky. You have a lot of fake outs on the candles here, for example, and some of these wixes that are looking like they were going to be breakouts. But also, I'd say this is almost an ascending wedge. It's just really rough and hard to predict. It doesn't look like a clear ascending triangle to me, which would be a bullish sign. And now we're rolling over here. If you close below these wixes here, I would start to get worried that this is going to come down correct. And maybe make support at like 180, something like that, following the trace of Bitcoin. Let's see here. Let's take a look at Litecoin. People are mad I'm not talking about Litecoin a lot. It's not that I don't like Litecoin, but it is one of the more, I think, overextended altcoins at this point. As much as I know, just like Bitcoin, it's got the block halving, things like that coming relatively soon. I think actually sooner than Bitcoin. For its next block halving, but I'd want to see it come down to like a big even level. So we were at 120. I'd like to see it come down, have a 33% retracement at a minimum of $80. If we're expecting Bitcoin to go to 6K, I'd really like to see it come down and have a 50% retracement down to 60. I don't know if we'd get something like that. It's a $40 move, but you know, see how fast it can move up. It can move down just as quick as well. Alrighty, and we'll take a look at a few more, and then I'll start diving into some questions. And I know we had some donations as well, so I want to answer those. Bitcoin Cash dropping from its high at 483 a few days ago all the way down to 388. What I would look for here, you know, if we're talking about, you know, as I talked about with Litecoin, kind of the worst case scenarios, you're going to see this probably come down to 250. And, you know, in the shorter kind of term, I would possibly get more comfortable around like the lower 300 range. We saw a price around here for a while. Its previous resistance might become support. I don't know. I'm not getting too picky, but at the same time, I haven't set any orders on Bitcoin Cash at the moment. And XRP, I think this one disappointed a lot of people. XRP, which is a momentum play, was looking like it was coiling up and it was going to have a breakout and a roll back over. So is the momentum play dead? No, I don't think it's dead. You know, XRP itself, doesn't matter what you think about the fundamentals, it moves like crazy. I mean, this is a great enough uptrend as it is in the short term. But XRP is still coiling in and formulating the longer term breakout that it's going to have in the next altcoin cycle. I don't think we're there just yet, guys. Some people have asked me why I've been kind of hesitant on my altcoin video. I am going to be putting one out soon. The problem is that I don't feel, as much as we've seen some of the Binance IEOs and a few others really perform well in the last week, if we're really just there just yet, I think what you need is the base support. What I'm thinking is going to be the base support at 6K, basically the retracement off of this kind of accumulation rally or consolidation rally. And then once you have that higher base that's solidified and held for about, you know, a month or two, and it starts to formulate the uptrend for Bitcoin, that's when people start taking serious risk, right? When they can see that, okay, we're not going to 3K, we're not going to 2K. You know, some people are still in that mindset. Alrighty. So I haven't been answering a lot of questions, guys. I will dive into those real quick. I'm just going to go ahead and I'm playing some nice lo-fi here, non-copyright. But I'm going to go ahead here and open up Streamlabs and see if we had any donations come through, because it sounds like we had some questions popping up. Okay. Let me see if I can get this real quick. Just don't want to miss any of those. Appreciate the support, guys. I'll go ahead and get the chart back up here. All right. And we'll put it back on Bitcoin just for the time's sake. So we're still trending a little bit below 8,000, around 7,900. Just kind of pushing around. Seems like on the 5 minute, you know, we have rebounded a lot of the losses. But again, look at the buy side volume, guys. It's nowhere near what you're getting on the sell side. That's my worrying concern here. All right, one sec. I do not want to go to my Streamlabs. I don't want to see the donations. I want to see the questions people have. They changed the layout and it's like really wonky. Oh, Kevin Lewis, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate it. Let's see, was there a question? Does not look like there was a question. Alrighty. Well, in that case, I'll go ahead and dive back into my answering of the questions. So, in this hectic market, let's see what we've got. Crypto time traveler says buy the falling knife. Jason Klein said, how do miners manipulate the market? Please explain. I wouldn't say, outside of the fact that they own a large distribution of Bitcoin, they don't really manipulate the market. They do most of their business, from my understanding, in OTC. The reason they do that is they have an incentive. The amount that they're making in Bitcoin, especially the larger miners, they have an incentive just to sell at OTC because they're going to incur slippage on the exchange. And for them, that, what might seem minor to some traders, is a lot. That's going to cut into their profit margins. So they have an incentive to offload to OTC. And that's a big thing. That's actually very beneficial for crypto markets. If miners who act like commodity producers who basically just sold everything they mined, that would be really detrimental for Bitcoin's price. So it's good that you actually have OTC markets. I know a lot of people give crap to OTC, but it's, you know, there's a negative in the sense that it removes buy side activity from the spot exchange, but it's positive because it removes a lot of sell side activity. There's got to be a matching trader on each side. It's a, you know, it's equal on both sides. All right. Let's see here. But your question about miners manipulating the market, Jason, miners don't really manipulate the market. The one thing they could do is they could produce false transactions on the Bitcoin network. So we always look at NVT. The one thing that could be worrying is that if they're collecting the fees for transactions they're confirming, if they have enough hashing power, and you know, well, fees get distributed, you know, decently, but if they were to basically generate fake transactions, it wouldn't cost them anything because they're getting the fees for it in that matter. And you can sometimes build fake usage of the Bitcoin network. That would be one concern. Nicholas Rice said, seriously, when is Binance gonna list titties coin? You know, I don't doubt that that's a cryptocurrency. We already had Potcoin, we already had Spank Chain. I swear, you degenerates, man. I swear, all you people bringing your nasty little things to crypto. We're trying to build a revolution in finance here. What is this? Randall, I'm not saying I support XRP. I see your shocking response in all caps. I'm not supporting it. I'm saying as a trade, yeah. Have you looked at the chart of it? It's not a matter of fundamentals. Most things in crypto at this stage don't really care about fundamentals. You can build one of the most useful, awesome projects in the world, but until you actually have a user base and we start to reach that catalyst of real growth, and you know, a lot of these things are moving off of the slightest little things. I don't like XRP fundamentally, just me personally. And it's not that they aren't doing interesting things. I know there's a huge XRP community who would flip out if they heard me say that. Well, a lot of it's bots. But for the people who do like XRP, I don't actually think negatively of XRP or I'm trying to think of his name right now. One of the kind of lead guys behind the project. I like a lot of what they're doing, but the problem that I see with it sustainably long term is that as much as it's an improvement on the traditional financial system, that this revolution is not going to be under the guise of a archaic system where basically its determination process for consensus is decided by a few distributed nodes that are selected, that are permissioned, that are the banking partners. I don't see that. I see us basically working a system where we don't have to trust third parties, that we aren't processing through third parties, that we will be able to spend, save, borrow, lend, invest, do pretty much whatever we want truly peer-to-peer. And eventually we will get to the phase where decentralized exchanges and these technologies start to become practical. They have improved immensely over the last year. I was a skeptic, didn't believe it was possible. Always thought there'd be a third party in a lot of major transactions and business factors of cryptocurrency. It's changed a lot. The DeFi movement is really exciting. Alexander, but Justin Sun and Warren Buffett, aren't they going to eat dinner? I would hope Warren Buffett wouldn't spend the time to eat with Justin, with all due respect. I think Warren should talk to someone else who's going to explain crypto to him for his first time, because I know he's been quite negative on crypto. I saw Ed said the background music's off. I'm sorry if you guys don't like it. I can't play the midnight because it'll basically take away from my monetization and stuff. But I can try to turn it down if it's a little loud. I hope you guys like it all right. Switch it up here. Alrighty. Never yield. Bitcoin and Tesla are dead. USD and Exxon are the future. It's interesting as you say that. Never yield. I'm on ORX. I can't look at stocks right now, but I'm definitely considering picking up some Tesla as it revisits one of the relative lows that it's coming close to in the next few days. Or if the Nasdaq really starts picking up sell side action, I'm going to wait till a little bit longer. But I wouldn't mind picking up some Tesla as a small investment in that case. Nothing serious right now. But yeah, Exxon, one of the largest oil players. But oil, I feel, has been set on going to $40 in the next few years. We talked about it in our recent newsletter. Kelsey was mentioning what Crone had said if prices dropped from 8,400 down to 7,200. I don't get to watch Crone all the time, but I've heard a lot about him. He seems like a decent guy. For the sense of predictions, I think this is signaling. Again, guys, just look at, as much as we're recovering here, the buy side action on actual liquid exchanges like GDAX, it's pitiful. And again, when you start to get to this corrective phase where the trend obviously looks like it's shifting and the momentum slowed down, don't believe me, take a look at the 4-hour. Don't believe me, take a look at the daily. Sorry, I tried to take a second to load. And also take a look at the weekly. What I fear here, and what I would say is a confirmation that we're going to correct down and start the sell side towards a big even like 6,000 or 5,000, something like that, would be. We already did it. So basically, we revisited down past the lows of last week. It's usually a general rule that when you're going through parabolic run-ups like this, if you end up, in this case, especially in something in such a short period of time, if you have the candle, in this case, going below the previous low in this case, notice how each of these weeks setting new lows on the weekly. We broke through that. And, we're on the first day here, right? Oh, I guess technically I know we're kind of stepping into June 4th, I guess, it created a new candle just a few moments ago. But, we're already, towards around 30K in volume. Last week was 103,000. We could very easily mask this previous week and stuff if we continue this action. I think if you close below 8,000, that's going to be a pretty good solidification that we're moving lower. Let's see here. Let's see here. Andrew Smirker asks, just tuning in, did you buy the dip, Nick? No, I haven't bought anything just yet. Definitely considering picking some up around like anywhere between 7,000 to 6,000. But I think most of my buy orders are around like 7,200 right now. Kelsey Shepard said background music sounds good. That's good to hear. And that she had picked up some Tesla. Yeah, I think Tesla at this range and stuff, you've already got a 54% decline. I like to buy 50% dips. The one thing that scares me about Tesla's chart, I can actually open up TradingView here. I didn't get that. Look at that. TSLA is actually the last chart I was looking at. Let's see here. Tesla. What I really do fear, I have to be fair, as much as I love a lot of the things about the company, I do have my criticisms as well. I've been noticing this for a long time, ever since I saw like the second kind of nice steady run up here in Tesla back in 2017. It looked like it's been forming like a gigantic head and shoulders for like the longest time. If you take a look at the weekly, it kind of becomes clear. So I feel like around this range, you could go long, trade it up to here at 280, and then it would crash down. But I honestly think Tesla is a much more long-term company. They're very well diversified into a lot of different fields. And as much as they are ambitious, Tesla completely did what the auto industry should have done for electric cars for over a decade and had all the resources to do it. But Tesla took the good talent from those companies, gave them the drive, gave them the resources, and they actually went out and built cars that I can tell you in my area, they've been selling like wildfire at the recent dealership they built. So, yeah, I'm interested in a company like that. But, you know, if I can wait a little more and get it down here at 140, I'm going to do that. So, all right, looks like Bitcoin's still not seeing much buy-side activity come in. We might get another rollover here, maybe for a third sell-side area. My father said that there's no sales. Tesla's a terrible company. All right. I do actually kind of want to change up the music here. This is kind of dull. I guess that's what you get for non-copyright. Like that, all right? Jason Klein asked, if you were someone with a massive amount of Bitcoin and you saw this market today, how could you manipulate it to your advantage? It's a very good question, Jason. It's the same thing that I've talked to a lot of people about over the past few years, or not the past few years, sorry, past few months with the Bitcoin market. And that is that most liquidity right now is on leveraged exchanges. So exchanges like BitMEX, things like that, and soon to be Binance, which is going to offer margin trading. Boy, is it going to be interesting to see what happens to the price when that goes on, and how many retail investors, sadly, I don't want this to happen, but how many retail investors are going to lose money. And that's why I keep on pressing, don't try to trade these markets in the short term, don't try to trade on margin. I mean, again, I can't give you guys official advice, it's just my opinion, but that's something that the average individual is going to lose out on in many cases. So I'd say, to as much as we're already risk engaged with crypto, to be relatively risk averse from things like that. But how could I go about manipulating the market with a lot of Bitcoin? It's a very, very important question. So Bitcoin itself, if we took a look at the past hours, I have no doubt that what happened here was just a select few buyers, right, that came in and sold a lot of this Bitcoin. All right, let's say, for example, this was a few coordinated whales. Well, what they could do is they could take some of the portion of their Bitcoin, they could dump it on spot exchanges, for example, like GDAX, which is run by Coinbase, Gemini, Bitstamp, you know, all the major kind of fiat on-ramps for cryptocurrencies. And now that the spot market has moved lower, they could have 2x, 3x, 5x, 10x short positions with a much larger sum of Bitcoin on BitMEX. And by dumping the spot price, which BitMEX uses to track Bitcoin's price through an indicator that aggregates a variety of exchanges, now they're basically, the derivative position in this case to short Bitcoin is up massively because it's 10 or 20x, and they basically bet on something they knew was going to happen. Now, is there proof that that happened here? No, we don't know, but I can tell you it is obviously clear that a very select few sellers sold in this market because there was like no volume, and then just like always, you know, price just starts breaking down, right? Let's see here. Jorgon Poe said, Nick, I am long on your hair. It's perfect. Well, Jordan, thank you very much. That's very nice. I just realized my camera is not like angled very well. This music and stuff fits very well. Jorgan's hitting on me. Jorgan, we just met. Stop it. All right. Kevin Lewis, you are right. The RSI is probably pretty oversold for Tesla right now. Citrojan, yeah, I do know about Digibyte. I haven't heard much as of recent. Yeah, Chris, it's a very scary situation, but it's the truth of crypto. We need to get more liquidity on the actual exchanges. Lauren said, after Musk hit the spliff, I was all in. Yeah, I know. People thought that was what dragged down the stock price of Tesla. It's like, investors don't care about that. Like, if anyone who knows Elon knows that Elon's done stuff like that. He goes to Burning Man every year. Like, most of Silicon Valley does that. Oh, Sean, yeah, I'm happy to be here. Yeah, I know it definitely feels like an avalanche, but what I'm watching for here next is what Bitcoin will do in the sense of testing 8,000. You've got a wicks down here. You got to get past. If we roll over again, I think you'd have one more stark sell-off, but we might have seen the bulk for now. And it felt like we needed to do a live stream anyways, guys. All right. Oh, Kelsey, no problem. Glad I could do some Tesla TA. Tesla TA. There we go. I'm sorry, guys, if the music's distracting. Let me go ahead. I'll turn that down a little bit. I'm kind of got it as low as... Oh, now I made it louder. You know what? Sorry, I'm doing the wrong controls here. I'll go ahead and drag the desktop audio down. Alrighty, that should be good. Henry K says, it's about time it dipped. I was waiting for this. Chris 9K, long on your hair. You know he's going 80s hipster style, shoulder length. No, I'm not growing a mullet. But do love a lot of 80s themed things though. All right. Delirium asked, Nick, do you think we'll hit the 6K region within a couple of hours today, or overall downturn on multiple days? I think it's going to be a few days, Delirium. I don't think it's going to happen overnight. You could see the bulk of it today, but I don't think you're going to go all the way from the upper 8,000 range to 6,000. Like, that would basically be a candle that looks like this. All right. But the candle's a little bit bigger, I guess. Right? It would have to drop like that much price. I don't think that's happening that quick. But I think you'll see the bulk of it probably over the next 24 to 48 hours. So, never a Senor Dash. Could it be a dead cat bounce soon? No, I don't think we're gonna get a dead cat bounce. I mean, you could consider what's these kind of run ups and stuff on the 1 minute dead cat bounces, but in the daily time frame, I don't think you're gonna see one. I think this is just gonna slowly roll over and stuff a few times as buyers keep trying to come in, but it keeps getting knocked down. First range again, as I said, I'd be interested in is like 7,000, but I'm really got most of my buy orders at the low 6,000 range. Reno Kratz, it's true, man. He said it's amazing how they can run up this market and put it down 2K within a few days, and people are sucked right in. Yeah, I mean, people FOMO. I've seen it in institutional traders for cryptocurrencies. It's human nature. Jargon. Thank you for the heart emoji, Jargon. I'm so positively moved. Crypto Angels, thank you very much. Rolling one up for the pullback. Yep, thank you, man. At 420. That was a good donation. I like that. Sometimes you got to do that and just enjoy the ride, guys. Michael Lapola said, Nick, did you know that there's an SMA indicator named after you in TradingView? I use it. That's very interesting. I don't know if I can get access to all of them on rocks here. Let's see, does Data Dash come up? Might have to look it up on TradingView specifically. I think they're going to get custom indicators coming through soon. Let's see. It sounds like we're getting a few donations. Let me go ahead. Reload Streamlabs here. Lance Skoof said, have you seen FIO yet? Ton of major wallets on it. FIO, yeah, I think I looked into FIO a little bit. I'll have to take a deeper dive into it. MT Coiner, thank you guys very much for the donations. Appreciate it. And Griffin, thank you for subscribing. Appreciate it, man. But I'll have to look into it, Lance. Alex Akeo, I would say, there's a lot of different people who will talk about like how to read candles. Yeah, that's awesome. I think you should focus on what price tells you rather than, you know, people always just simply look at indicators. I simply look for like momentum, right? If price looks exhausted and volume isn't correlating with the exciting trend in price, and I can tell you a lot right there. That's pretty much, these are the two major things that I've used over the last few days. This parabolic line and the fact that price just was moving sideways, volume was really abysmal. Vincent, thank you very much, man. I appreciate it. Clement asked, Nick, can you have a look at the 88 hourly volume? Sure, we can take a look there. Let me go ahead, and actually that's very easy for me because I can get oh, look at there, ADA right there. I guess switch over to Binance real quick. I will match that 420 roll up. Also, your hair does look great. Kyle, thank you. Oh god. All right, let's see here. Oh, we're going to take a look at 88 real quick on the hourly. Let's see here. Oh, yeah, big volume. Oh, I think most altcoins are probably experiencing a decent amount of hourly volume, but not a big drop here for ADA. A lot of the altcoins I've been watching are down a decent amount. There's actually still some that are quite up. It's interesting. But there's some altcoins I'm watching for a nice dip over the next few days to a week, and then I'll scoop up some. Kevin Lewis, I'm absolutely still a fan of Dash. Yes. Don't have a big investment in Dash or anything, but do love what they're doing. One of the best like peer-to-peer digital currencies out there, in my opinion. Mark Kelloso said, Nick, you're right on leverage trading. Since we broke the symmetrical triangle, bullish target was 9,400. Should have taken profit when price stopped moving up. Now I lost all Bitcoin on BitMEX. Mar, I'm sorry to hear that, man. It's a hard thing to go through. I would say the best thing to focus on now is like building out that base Bitcoin position again. I mean, if you like crypto long term, and it's a learning lesson, man. For example, I've had a lot of stock trades and stuff where, you know, things go completely opposite of what I ever thought could possibly happen. Sometimes you think with a margin, it's quick gains. People aren't getting, you know, in on it. You're kind of in the know and stuff, and you realize a lot of those systems, man, they're built against you. And it's not just prevalent in crypto; it's prevalent in every market. Brokerages, forex, they'll find a way to get you. Let's see. Loins, I actually don't own. Well, I actually got a referral the other day of an Apple share. Can't sell it just yet. Someone signed up through my Robinhood link. But I actually don't really own any equities right now. I'm waiting for the correction. There are some companies I'm going to start picking up if the NASDAQ revisits its lows that it went back to in December. But that's the only time I'm going to be really feeling comfortable, when we've got a 30-40% minimal correction in equities. Sean, I'm glad to hear, man. Glad you were able to sell, and glad I don't want to give you direct advice. I'm no advisor, but I do appreciate that you thought my word was valuable, and luckily it turned out good for you. Let's see. Sean said, was gonna watch a movie, but trading comes first. Michael's picking up some Nano. Okay. Nano's still been active on the GitHub. Last time I checked. I'll go back to Coinbase here, take a look. John, thank you very much for the donation. Appreciate it. Chris, very right. Not worth the risk on margin trading. BitMEX, I got an odd feeling about BitMEX. I've had a lot of traders and stuff who are active on there and still use it who say, yeah, my order didn't go through, or my stop didn't trigger. And people get front runnings on orders from what I've heard. But again, it's just rumors. I don't know if that's true. Sean said, in the stock market, I lost 12,000 in one day, then made 14K the next week. I'm just in crypto now. Well, Sean, you're going to be a great addition to the crypto space. Bring that volatility with you. Yeah, Kevin, I was surprised that I was able to get an Apple share for the first referral. I think what they probably do is like an incentive to lure you, and it's like, hey, you could get an Apple share every time you refer someone, and they're going to give me like Ford or like, you know, like $1 stocks. Let's see. JJ Hunga, that's a good question. I'm going to be doing my altcoin video soon, and I'll talk about some of the altcoins I'm looking at. But there's a lot of good fundamental ones. You guys probably know I've rambled on enough about a lot of the peer-to-peer digital currencies. And I'd say as much as Ethereum as a blockchain has not really proven itself through dApps and things of that sort, the DeFi movement has gotten me very interested in Ethereum. Right? The demand for Maker as a stable coin, or sorry, DAI as a stable coin, and crypto collateralized stable coins like DAI, I think that that's going to bring a lot of demand to Ethereum. We've already seen it's locked up like 1 or 2% of the supply. Kyle, that's a good question. You know, if we do continue to move up here, I wouldn't mind possibly picking up a position if this really starts to pick back up with some real volume, but I don't feel confident buying at these prices. I rode the wave, guys. I had a great time riding in the short term. You know, a lot of this uptick, you know, added some positions over here. It was all great and stuff, but you know, when you go from, you know, the real lows over here around 3,100 to this range in this kind of period of time, I don't know. NVT probably still well overextended from where we are now. I'm going to wait a little while. Jim Reed got the right idea. Margin trading is evil. Investors of crypto. Data, we love you in Texas. Thank you. Investors of crypto. Thank you very much, Kelsey. Appreciate it. Definitely smash up those likes. I love how Ivan always does that. Ivan's cool. I actually got to meet him at Consensus. We had a good time. Let's see. Hello, Alan. Nice to have you. Chris9 said, BitMEX, Bitcoin's liquidity is low enough, and you have insiders who have an incentive to go long if you go short and vice versa. Imagine how bad margin trading also be on Binance. I'll tell you, Chris, it's one thing that I think it's Binance wanting to keep up the value of BNB. That's the only real reason they're doing it. They should know that this is not good for retail participants. But I think they do. I think they do know. Nicholas, I still hold my Grin position, but I'm not trading it actively. The price has been kind of disappointing, and I think it has to do with Grin's monetary policy. I think while Grin's still in its early days, it needs to see a big shift on its monetary policy. They need to cut the rate of inflation like by 4/5, and I think if you did that, its value would shoot up like, you know, a really good amount. But then again, I don't really like, you know, open source cryptocurrencies and protocols changing their monetary policies, but it's in the early days, so I would say that they've got some room for it. And it would just make all the people who are participating in it probably quite happy because the value would go up. Flyboy Drew, hey Nick, any negative to buying crypto on Robinhood? Flyboy, I don't think there's really much negative. They have a pretty decent custodial solution from what I've heard. The one thing is that as of now, you cannot withdraw your crypto. So like if you wanted to send, let's say you bought like, you know, a fraction of a Bitcoin or a whole Bitcoin, you cannot take that off of Robinhood and send it to your own wallet just yet. They plan to do that. So I think if you're just trading in that case, I feel safe with Robinhood. They have all the standard insurance that you need for stuff like that. But, you know, I haven't done any serious investing on there with crypto. Light One Films sees this kind of selling off all the way into December. Someone said, sell in May and go away. Buy in June and go to the moon. Marcus, I like that. Bitcoin and beers, thank you very much. One of our friends from Canada said, do you think these could be orchestrated shakeouts or just BTC being BTC? I think your two different scenarios there are one and the same. BTC is still the wild, wild west, and there's many orchestrated shakeouts. But no, I mean, to your question, I don't think it's an orchestrated. I'll tell you, as we were talking about BitMEX being able to, BitMEX traders being able to push the market on spot and leverage trade. I really think what this was is it was a break on the wedge, and people realized, wow, there was no buy side volume after the last week or two. Sell side volume every single time. Look at the sell candles: 17,000 Bitcoin, 8,000. I guess you had a decent set of buy side volume here, but sell side, right? No serious buy side in between there, all throughout the last week. All right, everyone, we'll do 2 more questions here. Someone said, Don said, he said, I sold all my BNB. I think it's about, I don't want to make CZ mad, but I think it's about time. BNB's pretty up there. Let's see if we can pull it up here on BNB. Scrolled right past it. There we go. BNB USD tether. Let's take a look at the USD pair. Yeah, that doesn't. This is the 4 hours. Let's take a look at the daily. I'm not saying it can't go higher, but that's a decent rally. It's almost in. I guess it's not an 8x, but yeah, blew past the highs here at $23 from. This was back during the 2017 bull run. Things need to cool down from time to time, but I do not doubt that BNB is going to still continue to perform quite well throughout 2019 and 2020 if they really do get a lot of projects listed on the Binance chain. I'm interested to see that. All right, one last good question. Oh, Calvin. Thank you for this therapy, Nick. You're welcome, Calvin. I'm glad to see this therapy. All right, I'm going to block that. It's a lot of spam links. Let's see, one last question. Lee Carter, Nick, please remember me in the next bull run when your subscribers hit 5 million. I've been here since 15K. Well, Lee, thank you very much. I don't know if we'll hit 5 million. Maybe when crypto reaches mass adoption, but I do appreciate it. I love my long-term. The days when the live streams only had like a dozen, 2 dozen people. Crypto Chronic, got to see a live stream. Hey, man, thanks for making it. Appreciate it. Diago said, who's getting ready for the halving? Yes, I'm excited for the halving. Should play a big role in Bitcoin getting its next leg up. Any last good questions? Osini, thank you for subscribing. Okay, we got a bulk of questions that just came in. Nick asked a question, what I think about Neo 3.0. It's going to be a difficult transition phase for Neo, but I am interested to see. I think they've made a lot of the right steps. I think it's good that they're doing it now rather than 5-10 years down the line. And I liked when I went to the Seattle Neo DevCon meetup that Dao really had this kind of narrative of being a pragmatic optimist. He wasn't trying to sell a dream of like next year Neo will be the revolutionary blockchain, but they're really trying in the long term to win this race of different protocols. I did my speech on the Protocol Wars back in April of 2018 that spoke about this. But they really are trying to build a platform that works good for developers, and I admire that to a really big degree. There's a lot of protocols that still don't try to focus on building the developer community, because you can have the best protocol in the world, but if you don't have developers around it, then you don't have a protocol or anyone that's going to be used. Zombie dumped his icon. I'm assuming, John, in that case, you're talking about Crypto Zombie. I mean, the thing about icon with a lot of these altcoins and stuff, if they're developing fundamentally, I don't worry about, especially if I'm already down 85-90% on like an altcoin position. Let's say that's the case. I wouldn't sell. Like, that's capitulation. Like, you don't want to fall for capitulation. That's when you can accumulate if you really like the project. But maybe he doesn't like Icon anymore. I don't know. I don't can always get to keep up with CryptoZombie. Pretty nice guy though. From the times I've talked to him. Yeah, Henry, it was a big disappointment with the EOS launch, I think. Interested in voice, but Minds.com's literally doing the exact same thing, just better UI in the case of voice, I think. So, all right, guys, I think that's going to be it for the live stream. Taking a look one last time at Coinbase. We'll go ahead and just take a look at Bitcoin's price. 5 minute. Like I said, it looks like I might want to roll over one more time. If you close on the 5 minute below 7,900, volume starts curving back up again. Looks like we might set 1/3 final low for the day. Probably rest around that range, maybe get some buyers coming down there. But I think you're going to close somewhere down below 7,800, which will solidify a lot of the losses for the day. Alrighty, everyone. That's going to be it for the video. I want to thank you guys, as always, for supporting the channel. For those of you who left some great questions, great donations, and as always, if you guys want to stay tuned, you can like and subscribe, hit the bell icon, and if you also want to find some ways to support the channel, sadly in this video I don't have them in the description. I need to start getting that on the live stream descriptions, but if you want to, check out one of our most recent videos. There's a lot of great links down there. Get some nice discounts, but also help support the channel. So outside of that, guys, hope you all are doing wonderful, even though we've had some hectic price action. Either way, hold in there strong, guys. Set your trading strategies accordingly, and always keep playing for even the opposite of what you believe is going to happen. Have 2 different trading strategies for whatever might happen in the market. That being said, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. Stay tuned.